Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about multi-step inequalities. So once again we're talking about inequalities, which is greater than or equal to, less than or less than equal to. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about problems that have multiple steps and have to have different rules attached to it. Alright, so the first one we'll talk about this one on the top. 3x plus 7 is greater than 17. So we treat this the same way as if there's an equal sign there. 3x plus 5 is greater than 17. Remember, we're going to get x by itself. First thing we do is subtract by 5. Subtract by 5. This 5 gets canceled out because plus 5 minus 5. 17 minus 5 is 12. We keep the greater than sign. And then 3x, I'm going to move it over here. So now to get x by itself, we divide by 3 because remember we do the opposite. And then we're going to put it right over here. X is greater than 4. And you can always check if you plug in anything greater than 4, it'll hold true in our original equation. And if you were to plug in something less than 4, it would not hold true. Alright, so this right here. 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 8. Now remember, there are two ways to do this. We've seen something like this before. We talked about this. You can either divide by 2 right away or distribute. I am going to distribute first. So 2x. Remember, this is a negative sign, so you have to carry that down. So at this point, it's 1 just like the one we just did up here. Add 10 to both sides. This gets canceled out. I'm left with that 2x on the left side, and we keep the greater, less than or equal to, and then 18. We have 2x is less than or equal to 18. I divide it by 2, and I get x is less than or equal to 9. So there we go. So we got one more example. This is gonna be a little different. We have 4 minus 2x is less than or equal to 12. So once again, we want to get x by itself. So to do so, we subtract the 4. Remember, we want to get rid of that positive 4 over here, so we subtract it, so this gets canceled out. But the important thing is you remember, this is not only a 2x, it's a negative 2x. So the negative 2x gets carried down. Less than or equal to stays with it, and then we know that 12 minus 4 is 8. Now, if we remember our specific rules, our next step would be divided by negative 2. But, since we are dividing by a negative, we have to look here. Our sign will change. So the negative 2 gets canceled out. We are left with the lone x on the left side. We are changing the sign. The sign opens to the right. We're going to make it open to the left. 4 divided by negative 2. This is going to be a negative 4. Gotta keep this in mind. Gotta keep this in mind that this happens.